Mike Bako is sports managing editor of dailynational.com, and I asked him what China and Finland can learn from each other.
Well, I think what they're looking to gain from each other is just the exposure to each other. Finland, obviously, with a great tradition of sports and sportsmanship, especially in the Winter Olympics, and well, China doesn't really have that experience. So right now with the Finland and with the Chinese presidents meeting at this summit, what they're really trying to hash out is what is going to be behind 2019, the year of sports, and how can Finland help transition China and the Chinese population and awareness and consciousness into this sporting mindset like Finland has a strong hold over for many, many years and many, many generations.
Well, to your point, China, we know, launched several youth programs starting kids younger in winter sports. What kind of impact do you think those sorts of programs will have in growing more of a sporting culture in China?
I think they're looking to grow that sporting culture in China because they're looking forward to 2022, obviously, with the Winter Games, and trying to learn a lesson from Finland in the sense of how do you ingrain it in the culture? How do you start this at a very, very grassroots and an early age? One of the things that Finland really stresses is families getting together and playing these sports, getting children to play these sports, following these sports, building a passion for sports at an early age. They have a saying in Finland where it's not about the competition, it's about the play. And that really fosters young age, school age kids. They start to learn sports at a school age, and that's one of the things with this partnership that Finland, almost in an exchange program, if you will, they're sending coaches over, they're sending athletes over. How do they ingrain some of these cultural steps in China, and how do they help China grow? They have a partnership going back many, many years. In 1952, Finland actually invited China to participate when they held the Summer Olympics in Helsinki. So this relationship, even though it's not a structured relationship going back that far, but it is something that has been growing for many generations.
Well, you mentioned something there, because you can get all these young kids to learn how to play all these sports and put them on teams, put them in classes, but how do you get the parents and the families to buy into this? You said that for a lot of other places, it's about a family commitment. What do you do to get those parents to buy into it and make this more of a community effort?
Yeah, I think what you try to do is build that joy in their kids where it doesn't become something that they have to do. It's something that they enjoy doing. And frankly, it's something that hopefully the entire family can enjoy, whether it be skiing, whether it's just being outdoors. Certainly part of this partnership, some of the Chinese athletes are going to be in Finland training for the biathlon, training for cross-country skiing, ice hockey. Those are not necessarily things that the entire family can do, but it could become a participation sport for the younger kids that the family grows to enjoy watching, and then possibly seeing it on a professional level. And certainly what they're hoping to do by the time 2022 rolls around is not hope for the influx of tourists and people from other countries coming to these venues, which are big, which are large, which served the purpose for the Summer Games many years ago. But they're really hoping to fill it with Chinese fans and growing that culture and that sporting environment for China, not just for 2022, but for years to come.
And Mike, there's also the cost. I mean, we really can't leave out skiing, hockey, ice skating. These are sports that are huge investments. They're expensive to play. You have to buy the equipment, the clothing, the ice fees. How do you talk to families about the financial considerations here as well?
That's a struggle that even goes on here in the States, obviously. When you think about, there is becoming a haves and have-nots when it comes to travel teams, when it comes to getting the best access to fields and equipment, private trainers, all of those things. Unfortunately, it's a universal issue that not only is just something that's going on here in the States, but also in China, and then increasingly in other nations when it comes to, say, soccer and football in other parts of the country where kids go off to club teams at a very early age. But even before that, what do the parents do when the kids are 6 and 8 and 10 years old, when they're actually being scouted by some of these club teams? So it's a universal issue that this partnership will hope to address, but I don't think just this partnership will be able to address it, because it spans many nations, many sports, and many generations. Almost you have to think about it as a fact of life and, to use the pun, a cost of doing business in a way.